Is this an economic war between President William Ruto and his former ally Nyoro, which involves Ruto's Treasury CS John Mbadi? Now, CS John Mbadi has sharply criticized Nyoro over his recent remarks that Kenya is likely to default on paying its debt. What does this mean for President William Samoei Arap Ruto and the whole nation? I'm going to play those clips shortly because yesterday, CS John Mbadi appeared in Parliament and told off Nyoro. I'm also going to play a clip of Nyoro warning Kenyans that Ruto's government is likely to default on paying its debt. But I want us to understand the elephant in the room. Defaulting. What does defaulting mean for Kenya and President William Samoei Arap Ruto, because he is the head of state? Now, defaulting refers to a country's inability to meet its debt obligations. For Kenya, this would mean failing to repay its national debt or making late payments, which could have severe economic consequences. It could lead to loss of investor confidence. That is the reality. Because if we add an international investor who wants to invest his money in the Republic of Kenya, and we are having economic challenges, that investor might lose his confidence in the Republic of Kenya. It can also lead to economic instability and also higher borrowing costs. This is something that President William Samoei Arap Ruto is not going to be happy about. And such a scenario could lead to a financial crisis and impact the livelihoods of everyday Kenyans, causing inflation and higher cost of living, something that President William Samoei Arap Ruto and Kenyans will not be happy about. Now, I want us to listen to CS John Mbadi telling off Nyoro in the National Assembly.
I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to Paris, that we are likely to default in debt payments. That is irresponsible statement. It is irresponsible, it can cause panic, and it should not come from someone who has chaired Budget and Appropriations Committee. Let me tell you, yes, there were times when we had challenges, but where we are, we don't have a problem with debt sustainability. The numbers are there. The figures are there. Even the IMF has the figures. World Bank has figures. We have been rated out there. The problem we have is about liquidity. Loans were taken at a particular point of time. Most of them are maturing between now and 2032. That is why we have the pressure. After 2032, you go and look at our books and they're public. From 2034 to 2048, we don't have any loan to pay. There is no external loan to pay around that time, whether bilateral, whether commercial, multilateral, we don't have much loans. But between now and 2032, we must work together. This House has a responsibility. Treasury has a responsibility. Executive has a responsibility. We must work together to steady our economy.
After listening to that particular clip, now this is what Nyoro said about Kenya is likely to default in paying its debt.
Visits to China currently or other bilaterals, I can assure you, will be about debt primarily. Because we are almost at a cliff in terms of debt repayment, and especially interest rate. The problem is that when you go to your creditors to discuss about either rescheduling debt or working around new terms, what are you telling the markets? When you give signals that you have problems with paying debt, the international market starts to sense you as somebody who may also change terms when they lend you money.
Now, before we proceed, in case this is your first time on the Sport Check YouTube channel, kindly support us by subscribing and turning on the notifications bell. I just want us to understand something about this debt, this economic war between the head of state and his former ally Nyoro. Now, for President William Samoei Arap Ruto, the notion of defaulting is a direct challenge to his leadership and economic management. His administration, and let's just be objective on this, his administration has already been under scrutiny for its handling of public finances, faces a delicate balancing act. And why do I say this? Remember when Jimmy Wanjigi came out and told Kenyans that Kenya as a country is experiencing what is called an odious debt. I will explain that in another video. But it shows how Kenya as a country and President William Ruto's administration has been criticized by those who understand the economy of Kenya, like Jimmy Wanjigi. So if Kenya were to default, it will not only tarnish Ruto's administration and his reputation, but also hinder his ability to attract foreign investment and support the country's economic growth. And I don't think if William Ruto as the head of state will be happy about that. So Nyoro is just trying to caution the head of state that if we default, this is what is likely to happen. Nyoro is an economist. President William Samoei Arap Ruto is the head of state, a scientist. Remember, CS John Mbadi is an accountant and an auditor. So these three gentlemen must be in a position to understand that if they make a mistake, Kenya is likely to suffer. It is not just about their own interest, but it is about the people of Kenya. But why do you think Ruto's Treasury CS John Mbadi is trying to do when he tells of Ruto's former ally, that is Nyoro? According to me, I think CS John Mbadi is addressing Nyoro remarks with an aim of the following. Number one, defending national confidence. Because when Nyoro spoke about Kenya is likely to default, it was not a laughing matter. It was news. All media stations in the Republic of Kenya reported the story. Now, Mbadi is just trying to reassure the public and the international community that Kenya is not in danger of defaulting. And he spoke about it. You have listened to that particular clip. So by pushing back against Nyoro's statements, the CS is signaling that the country's economic situation should be managed with confidence. I mean confidence, not alarmist rhetoric. So according to him, Nyoro's statement is rhetoric. The second thing that CS Mbadi is trying to achieve is political point scoring. Now the CS may be using that moment to demonstrate strong leadership within the government. Remember, they were donated to Ruto's administration as an expert. That is what Junet Mohammed has been saying. So he's just trying to tell the rest of Kenyans that he is a reliable figure in managing the nation's finances. And he has been in parliament for a very long time, over 17 years. And that means he must be in a position to understand how the country manages its finances. And he is at the center as we speak. He is the Treasury CS. And according to me, I see this as a strategic move to gain political favor and cement their role in the administration. Why do I say to gain political favor? Ruto's administration has been criticized, and people have been saying that, you know what, this is a one-term government. When ODM donated its experts, some Kenyans also said that these people are going in bed to make their life hard. The third thing that he's trying to talk about is highlighting accountability from Nyoro, which is not bad. Nyoro was just trying to create an impression that we must be careful as a nation. But CS Nyoro is now holding him to accountable to come out and tell the rest of Kenyans whatever he's saying, can it help or not? But according to CS Mbadi, I strongly feel that he was in fear that that statement was meant in a way that it can damage Kenya's reputation. But all these stories that we are talking about, what is the impact of all this economic war on President William Ruto and Kenya? Now, this clash between, I call it a verbal clash, between Ruto's CS John Mbadi and Nyoro represent just a growing political divide within Kenya's leadership. And they have to understand that whatever they're trying to do, there must be something that they have to achieve. I don't know what you think, but I strongly feel that CS Mbadi was defending the the government, and Nyoro was just trying to tell Kenyans that we must be careful as a nation. I don't know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will be replying to your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we are on a mission to 7,000 subscribers. Support us by subscribing and turning on the notifications bell. Remember that if you like the video, you subscribe and you share, this information will reach many people as possible. Right here on the Spot Check, we promise that at the end of our videos, we'll be carrying out civic education. This is what you need to do. You need to register as a voter as soon as possible. And the beauty of doing that, you can participate in two types of elections. One, general elections. Two, by-elections. Remember to demonetize politics. The beauty of doing that, we can end up getting leaders of high integrity. Lastly, vote for someone with a vision. Bye for now. I will see you in the next video.